What's up YouTube, it's Ninja Turtle here, and today we have something very special. We have a reworked, revamped, and new Hellfire Club 3-pack. Well, it's not really 3-pack, it was a 4-pack that had 3 heads for the ladies of the Hellfire Club and only 2 bodies. So here's what's going on with this video. Obviously, you can see what I've done here. It made some changes, some modifications, and gave a new body. Like I said, the Hellfire Club pack was a San Diego Comic-Con 2020 / Hasbro Pulse Con 2020 exclusive, and I was able to get my hands on one last month. But there were some things that, well, obviously, like I said, 2 heads, 3 heads, 2 bodies, and I've made some modifications and some adjustments to that. But there's reasons why, and to give you just a brief overview of this video, I'm going to go over the reasons why I made the adjustments that I've made and the choices that I made for these particular 3 characters, and then I'll go over, because there are actually more than one reason, believe it or not, then I'll go over each character individually to let you know what I did, what pieces came from where, and how you can make modifications if that's something that you wanted to do to your Hellfire Club ladies. In that particular order, again, explanation of why I did this, and then I'm going to cover in video Jean first, and then we're going to go to Selene, and then at the end of the video we're going to cover how I made this Emma Frost. But let's go ahead and get things started as to talk about why I made this in particular, especially when it came the way it did. So yes, one of the very obvious reasons why I made adjustments to what's here is that I wanted them sexier. So obviously one thing that came with all of the figures, the 2 bodies, the 3 heads, is that they painted the legs all the way up to the hip joint. So they were black and they were white all the way up there, and the bottoms or panties, if whatever you want to call it, were fully colored and so on, and I made it very sexy, as you can clearly see. But that's just one reason. Second reason, again, you got 2 heads and 3 bodies. It came with a white corset body for Emma Frost and a black corset body for either Jean Grey or Selene, but then you had an extra head for either Jean Grey or Selene. You have to make a choice. In general, the body that they gave you for black was the Jean Grey, because it has a cape with the rose on it. That is special for Jean Grey. Selene does not have the rose on her cape whatsoever. And the pattern of the corset is styled for Jean Grey's corset. The pattern of the corset on Emma Frost is close to the comic book version of Emma Frost, but it's not quite the same. But you know, I mean, they're the same corset. As you can see, they're the exact same one. But Selene's corset is very special. So one of the things that I started doing, and here's the story of the full story as briefly as I can put it. I actually started making customs back in June, like officially going at this. And the very second custom that I started was actually Selene. I did Rachel Summers, and the very next custom that I was working on was Selene. And literally about halfway through, I had done her head, I had done her hair, I had done her legs. I was working on sculpting the corset on the torso, and originally I was going to use a Medusa body. This particular one is a retro wave wasp, but I was going to use a Medusa body. It's the same body. So actually this is version 2. So the version 1 didn't work out because I made some rookie mistakes, but this is version 2 on the retro wave wasp body. And this corset is styled for Selene, if you can make out any of those details. I'm sorry for the black, I was doing some experimentations with the paint, but yeah, this was going to be Selene's body. because I knew after the announcement for Comic-Con that they were going to get the Hellfire Club pack. We got basically a Jean and the Emma body and then an extra head for Selene. I don't need the head for Selene that I was going to use, which I originally intended, which I misplaced, but I was going to use this hair. This hair is Silver Sable's hair, but painted black. So if you ever wondered what Silver Sable's hair looks like, black, that's what it looks like. I was going to use this, and then I had originally planned on using a Kate Blanchett Hela head from the Hela 2-pack. So it was going to be basically Kate Blanchett as Selene. I thought that was very fitting because, I mean, Hela's very similar visually looking in the MCU to Selene, so Kate Blanchett would have been my Selene had Hasbro not made this head. So once the announcement was made, I stopped all my progress back in July and said I'll wait for the head to come out. It'll be a few months, and then I'll just finish the body and throw the head on. Fast forward to a month ago, or a couple weeks ago, when all of this came in the mail, and I was excited. I was going to start finishing this body, and I went to do, and I'm very, very, very grateful that I decided to do this. Word of advice: do a fit test before you start working on any of your customs. Make sure the heads, the arms, all the parts and pieces fit together the way that you think that they should, even if it's not finished work, and just do a fit test. So I decided to do a last minute fit test using this Selene head on this here torso, just to see what it looked like, just to mess around with it. And guess what? It don't fit. So that's one of the other reasons. So I'm going to get into that in just a second. Alright, like I said, the Selene head did not fit on a regular torso, upper torso, on a regular ball peg. And here's why. As you can see here, we have, this is the head from Emma Frost, Walgreens exclusive, the black suited Emma Frost. And this is the original head on the Emma Frost for the Hellfire Club pack that I've reworked today. I hope you can see the difference, not just the makeup, not just the skin tone, not just the hair color, but actually the size of the head. This head is much smaller than this head right here. One of the things that they did with this pack of ladies, with this corset and so on, is that they made the neck incredibly long, much longer than the neck on an average female head or torso. It's like almost double in length. So to compensate, they made these new heads that are much bigger than your normal average head. And yeah, look at that. It just kind of sits in there. It doesn't pop on or anything like that. This head is much bigger. So the problem is on come on, focus for me. There you go. So the problem is the Selene head doesn't fit on a regular torso. It only goes on the bodies that they made for this particular set of ladies. It only goes on the bodies, which are these two on the outside. So that's the conundrum. The third reason why is why I did this is because I built this body originally for Selene, but I ended up making one for Emma because I have so many of these Emma heads that I might as well go ahead and use Emma's body, Emma's head to make the body. I'm going to have a hard time getting this to stand up straight under the pressure of live recording. Okay, she's back up best as I can. But yeah, I chose Emma in particular because I had so many Walgreens heads, and I know that her head can fit on a regular body, and it would just be more appropriate. Also, another reason why I chose Emma, because I'm going to be remaking and doing new Emmas anyway, and I really wanted to use this body mold to give her more curves than everyone else. Again, originally I intended that for Selene. She's just kind of leaning against the wall today. But I originally intended for the Medusa body to go on my custom Selene. Wow, I'm clumsy today. I'm sorry. But as I thought about it, I was like, you know what? I'm going to be making a lot of Emma Frost. I could make her as slim as Jean Grey, putting her on the Lady Deadpool body, but I decided not to because, you know, I've always thought Emma has a large chest and a very curvy woman. That's just how I think of her. Then I decided to look at references and I was like, you know what? She's actually kind of slim. Her body isn't all that different. But then if you look at the stats for Emma, she is a 5'10", 5'11" woman with 145 or 150 pounds. I think that's kind of curvy. In the very least, she's taller than Jean, so I wanted to have that represented on her body. On all of the future Emmas, I'm going to pretty much build her like this, but we'll cover that very soon. Like I said, now it's time. I'm going to go to a special covering of each character. We're going to start with Jean, then I'll follow it up with Selene, and then do Emma Frost after that. Okay, you've reached the Jean Grey portion of this video. So there wasn't a whole lot of changes, of course, with Jean Grey compared to how she was originally made by Hasbro. But my intentions was to make her look more like the Mark Brooks version of this costume. So what I mean by that is, this is actually not how Jean Grey looks like as a Hellfire Club Black Queen. She does not look like this at all in the comic books. She has a blue cape with the red on the inside, and then she has her full legs out from hips to the thigh, and then she has on boots or heels, but they go up to her calf, right? That's how she looks. I mean, this nails her hair is really good. The choker's right. The rose on the cape's right. The corset is correct. And then how they originally did her underwear. That's all how they originally did it was fine. But with Hasbro, they have to make these things somewhat neutered. So that's why they didn't paint her legs flesh tone. So I took that liberty again. I wanted to look more like Mark Brooks art, and he has thigh high boots, so that's what I went with, kind of a mid thigh or low cut to the thigh, or I don't know, fashion, but a lot more leg showing here. This is the original body, so I didn't do any body part swapping or anything like that. So once I took the legs off, I was able to, because it's black all on the inside of the lower torso, primed it and repainted the flesh tone. All of the flesh tone on her body, from the legs to the lower torso, the upper torso, and the arms, is repainted flesh tone, where I did not touch the face whatsoever because I didn't want to mess up the makeup. I didn't want to remove any of that. So I tried to match it as best as I could. It doesn't look half bad. But taking the corset off and just repainting all of the flesh tone, and that's all about all I did there. I'm going to take off her cape so I can show you a little bit more of the detail that you can't see that's hiding, and then we're going to move on. Alright, and here she is real quick without the cape. You can see all the lovely shoulder blades she's got. She's actually leaning against the wall because, you know, Hasbro girls with heels are a little hard to stand up by themselves. But real quick, you see the backside. So here, you know, my idea is that, again, with Mark Brooks, he did do a thong, although you can't really see the backside. I use my own headcanon and interpretation here, and it's a little bit of cheek here, but and my idea is that even though Jean was possessed by the Phoenix at the time, I still think she had a little bit of conservatism in her head, and still was very new to this whole dressing like this sort of thing. So she didn't go full on, you know, G-string or whatever. I think she was still holding back a little bit. So I decided to just have a little bit of cheek, not a whole lot. But again, it's just repainted some flesh tone here, and then thinned out the black that's there, and everything else is as Hasbro left it. So now let's move on to Selene. Alright, on to Selene. So just as an overview, I didn't buy an additional black queen body. This is actually, as far as the torso goes, the corset is the corset from Emma Frost. It is the actual torso from Emma Frost. The upper and lower torso is also the arms from Emma Frost. At least the shoulder blade and bicep. That is all the arm from Emma Frost. So if you remember Emma Frost, she's very pink. This is the one, again, this is how they came with her. So the flesh tone is extremely pink on this Emma Frost body. So between that and then the legs, I actually, you know, with the white white legs and white heels and stuff, I gave to the Emma Frost body that I made. So these are brand new legs that I made. And now I started, again, this is like version 2, maybe version 3 of these legs, because I made a Selene body earlier on. But these legs in particular are from the, well, actually just the thighs, not everything else. The bottom part of the legs are from, probably from Shikla, I believe, because they're black calves and black heels. But then the thighs are from this Jean Grey, the AOA Jean Grey. Hard time just getting anything to stand today. Full disclosure, Selene is leaning against this wall right now, just because it's a lot easier to get that set up that way. But yeah, the thighs are actually from this AOA Jean Grey. I didn't and probably shouldn't have used these legs because it's just more work, since these are for like a bodysuit. I should have used the blink legs instead, because those are just bare legs. I've learned that lesson now. I just realized that these legs are the same legs, the same size and all of that as the blink legs. I always thought the blink legs were bigger, but they're not. They're the exact same size legs, same length and everything. These just have more detail on it to be considered bodysuit, whereas the blink legs are just bare legs. So keep that in mind. I just did extra work to sand off all of the details of the cloth ripples and stuff for it to be used here. So other than that, we do have a few new things here on Selene. So in general, we got these knees. Now, like I said, I started making Selene back in July, so I actually made these knees way back then. And trust me, if I were redoing Selene now, I probably wouldn't make the knees look this way. I mean, they do capture the desired effect, but over time I've improved my abilities, so I probably wouldn't do it the same way, but I would still have the effort to use epoxy sculpt and take the regular knee that is just there and then add epoxy sculpt to shape it to make it look like a knee, well, the extension of the boot or whatever it is that is supposed to be called. Then on her thigh we have more epoxy sculpt going around the thigh for that band, and then that little gem or bead or whatever you want to call it on there that comes from somewhere. We're going to come back to that later, but going to get back going up again. The corset is the same corset as Emma Frost, so it was white. I hope you notice the difference of the black on Selene compared to Jean, because not only did I paint it black, but all of the body, all of the clothing, I used a sealer Mod Podge gloss, so it's a lot glossier compared to the matte finish that is used, one matte finish on her flesh tone, but matte finish used on all of the black that I painted on both Emma and on Jean Grey. So she's got more of a patent leather dominatrix type of look to her, and that's fully intentional. I wanted her to be shiny leather as opposed to more matte leather. So again, the arms are the Jean Grey, or excuse me, the Emma Frost arms repainted, and then the forearms and hands are just the same from, I believe, Shikla, but it could have been someone else with black arms, or just generic arms, nothing a big deal. Decided to give her the whip as opposed to Jean. Yeah, that's just that. It didn't really matter at the end of the day. Both of them could have it, but I decided to give it to Selene. And lastly, the cape. So here's what I meant. So this cape came from Polaris. So Miss Polaris has the exact same cape, And my intentions here were to one, she needed a cape because again she needed a whole body originally, but I wanted to have that gem there, and what I did is take the cape and then cut off the gem on one side, and that's the gem that you see here on her thigh here, and I just repainted it and glued it onto the epoxy sculpt there. And then the other gem, I just closed it up shut and super glued it together. Once the glue dried, painted it red, painted everything black. Again, this was a green cape, now it's red, and it's just naturally pops out as opposed to going down. I have to cut off the peg in the back for the cape because there's no peg hole. The peg in the back, I had to cut that off. There's no peg hole on this body, so it would be sticking her in the back if so. But just the act of taking this and closing it in and just having it like that, it just made it flare out more, which is pretty cool. And again, the neck is much longer, so this head didn't touch the head. This is the exact same head as it was, and no modifications there. I really like the head. And yeah, that's it. So let me take off her cape, and you can see the back side of that, and then we'll move on to Emma. All right, and here's the back side of Selene. So compared to Jean Grey, I think she's just a little bit more risque. I made it a lot smaller, a lot more cheek. I'm not an expert at painting panties, thongs, or G-strings or whatever, so this is all very experimental. I learned a lot. But I wanted it to be a little bit more cheeky, and that's what we got. So hope you like it. Alright, lastly, Emma Frost. So we had to build a brand new body because again, you had 2 bodies with that pack and only 3 heads, so that created quite the conflict. So again, decided to go with Emma because we had so many extra heads and hair from the Walgreens exclusive Emma Frost, and it was just a lot easier just to build her a new body as opposed to trying to make it work with the other 2, or spending more money on the extra body, whether it be Emma Frost or Jean Grey's Black Queen body or whatever. Those are going for a minimum like $50 on eBay. I've seen Jean Grey go for much higher, like close to $100. So this was a much cheaper and easier option by far. So starting from the bottom, same legs that are all of it actually, between the heels, the lower legs, the knees, the thighs, and the hips. All of that is the same legs that actually came from the Emma Frost body from the Hellfire Club pack. But just like with the Jean Grey, I decided to lower the the boots or leggings so it's mid thigh as opposed to all the way up on the entire thigh, which is a lot more comic book accurate to how she's actually wearing these boots or legs or heels or whatever. But these are the same legs, just sanded down and then painted flesh tone. All of the flesh tone from her head to her toes, or not toes, or thighs to the head, is all the same paint. Because it needed to be a new body. The torso, the upper torso, and the lower torso again come from the Medusa, which is a Walgreens exclusive. But again, you can also use the Retro Wave Wasp or the other Wasp, like the Modern Wasp, the Shuri Black Panther or Hellcat. Those are all the same body as this one. Or you can use whatever body you want. If you want to use Lady Deadpool or Shigla, go for it. That's all on you. I decided to give her a curvier body. This body has more hips. It has actually more toned abs and a bigger butt. And this is how I want my Emma to look. I want all of my Emmas to look like this, basically. So on the torso, we've got everything is on the lower torso is painted on. One of the things that I've learned over the last couple of customs, which some of them haven't even had videos made yet, is that I should do as little sculpt work on the lower torso as possible, especially on the area where the upper torso and the lower torso meet, because that is just very precious. Unless you're going to do a lot of sanding to bring down the space or make more space in between the 2 torsos, having epoxy sculpt there really messes things up. And once you get everything together, which will still fit, but now you got that plus paint, and it just would be a huge issue. So only painting on the lower torso, but the top, the upper torso does have epoxy sculpt for the actual corset here. So it goes all the way around the back, so I'll show you that shortly. And then on the arms as well, so the forearm and the hands are the same arms that came with the Hellfire Club Emma, but the bicep shoulder, those are just generic arms that I pulled off of someone. I don't even remember what character, but just any old arms will do. And there is some epoxy sculpt, which you'll see a little bit more clearly after I take the cape off, but just painted that with the flesh tone. Speaking of the cape, this is the cape that came with the Hellfire Club again, but I repainted, actually removed this paint on the gem. It was blue and it is now red, so I repainted that, and that's about it on that. I didn't do anything else. I did put a little gloss finish on it so it shines a little bit more. And now we can talk about her head and her hair. So with that Walgreens Emma Frost, it had two head sculpts, which I should have put her up right next to it. Right now, let's see if I can get her to stand under pressure. Under pressure. Don't knock her over. Okay, that's good enough. Anyway, that'll do. You get the idea. So, now we can't focus now. So, but yeah, the Walgreens Emma Frost is got this head sculpt for what is supposed to be considered modern Emma Frost, right? And then it comes with the other head sculpt, which is supposed to be classic Emma Frost, because it has the classic hair from her in the Hellfire Club. That's what this one's for. But these two heads are not the same head. They are not the same head. I repeat, they are not the same head. And not just the makeup, but it's just a completely different head. And I don't understand why they did that. This is the same person, but she has two completely different faces. It doesn't make any sense to me. I think this head is very pretty, so don't get me wrong. I really do like this head, but it didn't make sense to me that she would have two different ones. So on my Emma Frost, I use that head, the modern head with the classic hair, and it is the hair from this Emma Frost head. So one thing that's really cool, and I like that this happened, is that when I was taking the hair off of one of these, you can see the difference. Hopefully you can see the difference. The hair is a lot tighter on here compared to this one, and that just was a result of removing it from here, stretching it out a little bit after heating it up and removing it from the old head and putting it on this one. It just was a little bit more wider, and it looks, for me, it looks more comic book accurate like this than to be as tight as this one is. I mean, this looks nice, but the way the comic books, it's just a little bit more wider, and it looks better also with this modern head, because again, that's Emma. This looks like Emma Frost to me, and so does this, especially with this hair. So I really dig it, and I unintentionally, but still kind of intentionally, raised her eyebrow just like on this Emma Frost. I think it actually looks great that way, so I'm totally into that. Eyebrows are black, and yeah, that's about it for Emma. So for the most part, every Emma that I make, again, will go on this torso, and I will use this head too, the modern Emma head, and I'll still be changing up the hairstyles. So as far as Emmas go, I plan on doing, and hopefully doing, a Phoenix 5 Emma, doing a modern Emma with like the pants and the corset top or whatever, tube top sort of deal. I plan on doing diamond versions of that, as well as a diamond version of this here black Emma. So actually going to remake this Emma on this body as well. I do plan on doing that at some point in the future. So all of my Emmas will be on this body, including this one. So hopefully, and also we'll have relatively the same flesh tone. This flesh tone is much lighter than that one. I like this, don't get me wrong, this looks good, but for me, she's the white queen, so for me she's pale. That's just how I see things. But I like this flesh tone more than this one. This still looks good, but I prefer her to look like this and with this body overall. So let's take off this cape. You can see the backside, and then let's get out of here. Okay, the all too important backside. As I said before, you can see the epoxy sculpt goes all the way around on the upper torso, but the lower torso, everything is painted on, including this thong. I'm not gonna lie, I like the way this turned out. It looks really good though. And oh yeah, the paint on the strings for this thing is light gray, not just there but also on the strings of the corset, and then also the front of it, of the panty or whatever, is light gray as opposed to white. I just wanted something to mix it up and to make it look a little bit different, just to stand out just a tad. And yeah, so light gray with everything else is white. So I really enjoyed the way this looks, and really can't wait to start making more Emma Frosts. Again, using this body. So yeah, if you really like Jean Grey, or you know, whatever bodies those are, the Lady Deadpools, those look good. They do look good and would look good for Emma, but I would prefer Emma to have this: more hips, more booty, just more abs too. And we'll see, because also one thing I'm looking forward to, because again, these legs are from the Hellfire Club Emma. I'm going to use the more modern legs, again, either Blink legs or Black Widow or what have you, going forward for Emma. So I'm looking forward to seeing what that looks like and how that works on this torso, because I have yet to do that. This Selene that would have been on the body, on this body, would have been doing that. So I'm still at this point of not knowing how well that's going to work on the Medusa body. So I'm going to leave you here. I think this is a good spot to stop at. Make sure you guys are subscribed to this channel. I'm going to continue to work on customs, although admittedly things will slow down a little bit this month. I do want to take a break to play on the PlayStation 5. I will be getting one of those very soon. Actually, it's a couple days away at the time of this recording. I'm going to be also posting a Jean Grey X-Men Red custom that has been taking me forever to get done, but I just put it together. I'm going to record it right now, and that'll go up after this video. And so you'll probably see that later on in the week or next week. Not sure how that's going to work out, but in general, I got more on the way, and you will see that very soon. But at the end of the month, it'll probably slow down quite a bit, so I can play some video games. It's been too long since I've played games, and I really need to take a quick break and refuel. So I will see you guys next time. Peace.